What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Bev Boys, your one-stop shop for all your energy drink reviews and performance talks. I'm Christian.
I'm Brian.
And today, we got another very special guest, a banger on our hands, as usual. We got Hewitt Tomlin in the house, CEO and co-founder of TeamBuildr, the best training software, if I do say so myself. In the past, elite college quarterback. This dude's got 10K yards in the air, under center.
Long time ago, boys. We're going to go deep here, huh?
Hewitt, can we get an Omaha call right now?
Omaha! My coach didn't trust me doing audibles. He was like, this kid can't do it. Like, just give him a one play. Let him run the play. He tried, poor guy. And I was like, sorry, man, I got too much going on business-wise to be doing audibles and multiple play calls.
This guy's
Too busy
business out of his dorm.
Too busy scheming.
Buddy, just let me throw deep. Just let me throw deep here. What are we doing?
I want to put the ball in the air. Can you put the ball in the air?
If you give me the run pass option, coach, I'm throwing the goddamn ball. What are we doing?
Your career long was 91 yards.
Dude, that was on a flea flicker.
Did you get what I think it was, did you get sacked on a double pass? Because you have one catch for -3 yards.
Yes, I did, probably. It probably was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. We ran like one trick play every game. We come up with a new one. And I remember like only like 1/3 of them worked. The other ones were like, oh shit, I better just get down here.
Dan Campbell before Dan Campbell.
Yeah, right, dude. I mean, it was kind of fun on Thursday to be like, all right, guys, let's scheme up a play. And we had some crazy ones. But yeah, the flea flicker, that was my freshman year. I was a freshman quarterback. We were playing like a top 10 team in the country. And we were on our own 9-yard line. And he would like called for the flea flicker. And I was like, damn, sounds good. Let's do this. And the kid who caught it was a freshman too. It was like a freshman 91-yard bomb.
It was James.
Yeah, it was James. Yeah.
That was the birth of TeamBuildr in that moment.
That's right. That's right.
Hewitt, right? We talk. Obviously, we love energy drinks. You're big on Fit Aid, so we like we had talked about pre-show. We brought Fit Aid on it. You're drinking the Golfer Aid right now.
Yeah.
And you're about to shoot 71 today, probably based on the Golfer Aid.
I'd be happy just to get out there. I mean, a round of golf is not a commodity anymore. It's a luxury.
But besides the fact of the deliciousness that are energy drinks that are caffeinated beverages, what gets you fired up in the morning?
Oh, you mean apart from the energy drinks?
Yeah.
Well,
Is there anything?
here, let me get. I actually have it on me, so you guys are lucky. I get to bring a visual prop for this. I'd say this bad boy right here helps too. This one here. Yeah. Oh, hey, put him up. Put him up. It's like
On the odd day out.
you get a little Fit Aid with a little bit of this, and as Brian likes to say, maximizing shareholder value in the morning, and then maybe some more in the afternoon if you reload.
Christian's not as much of a fan of the nicotine and Zyn or any of the pouches. We talked about this on the previous episode, but
I mean, good. Like, I was so surprised when, like, on social media, people are like, actually, nicotine has some good benefits for you. And I'm like, guys, I'm like middle class from Tennessee. I started, doing long cut grizzly at like 16 years old. When people are like, hey, look, nicotine has some good things. It's not all bad. I was like, folks, you don't know what you're getting into. Once you go down the rabbit hole, especially when you have an addictive personality like mine, it's very hard to come back. So, yeah, let's just say Zen sort of changed the game. And I feel bad for folks who are going to have to or want to, break the habit later on.
nothing does hit like a Copenhagen long cut wintergreen, though, after a couple of beers.
I mean, it's a nasty, nasty habit, Christian. You can agree. But Brian, there's nothing like the first girlfriend. I'll take a trip with my high school buddies. Right, we'll go get a cabin, like a river cabin or whatever, and someone will bring a little grizzly wintergreen long cut just to just
for old time's sake.
And man, that whole weekend, I won't take a Zen. I won't smoke a cigarette. I'll just have grizzly long cut in the whole time. By the end of the trip, my mouth's like all sore and I'm like hurting. I'm like swishing mouthwash, like, get it out.
So Hewitt, team builder, CEO, man of multi-talents. But for anyone that doesn't know, like, where did this all start? Where did the enigma that is you as a co-founder of a company, a legend in college sports and NCAA before NIL, this guy would have been crazy in that. Like, what is the story behind it all?
Well, it comes down to like the combination of me and James. When I got to college, I like came from like a small private Christian school that had like a bunch of rules, and I was like this big personality, extrovert, and I just felt like I was kind of confined in my high school experience. And when I got to college, where they treat you like an adult and there are no rules, essentially, I was just like a social butterfly. I like knew everyone. I was like invited to every sorority formal. Just freshman year was just like a huge social experience for me. James, who was my freshman year roommate, was sort of the opposite. He wasn't like as more introverted. He loved being on the computer, like he was a computer science major. But James also came with the ambitions of starting a business because his dad was a business owner, and James was just naturally curious. So we had like all these dumb ideas, like creating like a matchmaking site, like a dating site for college, so that you could like match with your someone to take to like a sorority or fraternity formal or whatever. We had like we wanted to start like an internet forum, kind of like college ACB, that was like anonymous, which was probably a terrible idea. But like we had ideas to do stuff. Like we were always kind of scheming. And then it was the right time to scheme for software because the iPhone came out our freshman year. So like social apps were the big thing. Remember that movie, The Social Network, with the Facebook story? Dude, that movie like really influenced an entire generation of like aspiring entrepreneurs in college. So James and I always thought that like a social network or like a social app was going to be our thing. And when we played D3, so everyone went home in the summer. No one was on campus training as a college athlete. So like you come back for preseason camp and like some people were GI Joes and did their packets, and other people like didn't do anything. And James and I in the summer were like the GI Joes who did the packet. So we would call each other every day and be like, "What'd you get on the circuit?" Because a lot of our stuff was like circuits, competition based. And James was the one who came up with the idea. He was like, what if we like put the workouts on an app and then you can see what everyone else did on their circuit? So we thought it would be like a social app for teams to like kind of gamify off-season training. And then when we went and talked to strength coaches, they were like, I don't care about the social aspect. They're like, just make my job easier. And we found out that they were programming on Excel, and they definitely could use like a more efficient tool. And then that's how we kind of like pivoted from being like a social app to being more of like a logistical tool, like time savings tool for coaches. And the reason I think we stuck with it for so long was because like we knew it worked. Like there was like a good problem to solve. And we didn't really get like a big appetite to go solve other problems because like this one seemed like the one that we were early to and sort of had like some traction on. So we didn't want to give up on something that we were like uniquely situated to solve in the market. So yeah, that was 13 years ago now.
And then the introduction of going to conference. Ooh, good pop.
Don't mind me.
Bringing prime time on, bringing on new legends as time came on, like Luke and Chris and Big Rye. Like the team got built out from going into having an office with Elvis, having Colin there, and a full team to then essentially the great like diaspora and everyone going fully remote to now once a year coming back together as like a reclamation of sorts.
Yeah.
For the company.
Like if we were to go back and do it again with the knowledge that we have now, we probably could have built this company at like 2x or 3x speed. Like in the beginning, it was like we really took our time. And we didn't make any huge mistakes, but we just weren't like probably as fast paced as we were now. And I think it's just part of it is just like being in your 20s and you don't know a whole lot. And you're kind of enjoying the ride in the beginning, kind of like feel lucky to be here. Like James and I were self-employed at like 24 years old. Like there's one thing to be self-employed at 24 and like do consulting or like, you know, work hourly or whatever. We were like self-employed with an IP based company, a software and employees. Like I was like doing payroll at 25 and I was like, this is crazy. Um, so we, you know, I don't know. I kind of bring it up to say like, we are definitely different now at 34 than at 25, but I think at 25, it was good to like have a lot of personality, because like we built up a lot of customers and built a lot of relationships there. I think if we moved too quickly, we would not have built like the same quality relationships with like employees and the customers today. We kind of treated it like a good lifestyle business and kind of built a good brand and a good reputation. And then now we're probably like a little bit more like business hustle than we were back then, because at some point you're like, well, why am I doing this 10, 13 years later? Like there's got to be some sort of end goal. I'm going to try to get to that, you know?
So I guess like during that time, like how did you approach the regular job, your day job, while you guys were like getting everything off the ground?
That's a really good question. I've met with so many people, like younger people, right? Like guys from my college come and ask me about starting a business or whatever. And I've always been a huge advocate of like, hey, don't think like binarily about working a job and like pursuing your own thing. Um, I know it gets harder like later in life, but in your early 20s, like me, like I had a girlfriend and that was it. I worked 40 hours at my day job and then like 20 hours on TeamBuildr. And it was very complimentary. Like I was working at startups. The moment I got out of college, I worked for a startup and then I worked for another startup. And I learned so much working at these small startups that I would just go home and then just like take what I learned on the job and then like apply it to TeamBuildr. So like I had a marketing job where I was building landing pages and getting certifications and like inbound marketing. And I was like, part of my job was learning a lot of things. And then I would go home and be like, sweet, I just learned how to build like an inbound marketing funnel. I'm going to build one for TeamBuildr. And like, it was very complimentary, like very complimentary. And then at some point, at my second startup job, I switched from a sales role back to a marketing role and I hated it. I had this boss that I really didn't like. And I just wasn't learning. I wasn't like getting better at my job. I was kind of just like directionless. And prior to that, it was very productive. And TeamBuildr was making 100,000 a year. So I told James, I'm like, hey, I'm going to quit my job, and I just need like $2,000 a month to live, and I think I can make it work. And at my day job, I was making 70K, so it was like a pretty big haircut. I couldn't care less. Like my girlfriend would go grocery shopping with me and make me like rice and beans. She's my wife now, by the way. She would like make me rice and beans, like meal prep, big Tupperwares, and at lunch I would just have like rice and beans and like ground beef, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I loved it. I couldn't be any happier making 2K a month because that was all TeamBuildr all day long. And after 1 year of doing that, I just having full-time effort into the business as opposed to part-time grew the company from 100,000 in revenue to 500,000 in revenue in 12 months. And that was just by being a full-time person. And then eventually I went to James after a year and I was like, hey man, it's your turn. Cause he was working an IT job like full-time and he was putting in plenty of work nights and weekends. Don't get me wrong. But James got married young, took on a mortgage young. And I think he knew he wanted to be like a dad young. So he had a little bit more to think about than I did when it came to switching to the full time. But I think I ended up putting enough pressure on him to where he was like, okay, I'm comfortable going to, my employer and being like, hey, I think I'm done being the full-time guy. And when he came on, then it was both of us full-time and it was never the same again. It was like the biggest jet fuel you could pump into the engine was just putting 2 full-time efforts as opposed to 2 part-time efforts. But I don't think we were in a hurry to do it. I sort of built up some revenue so that like, hey, when I've stepped full time into it, it wasn't like starting from square one. It was starting from like square 4.
Was that,
Wow.
I guess what was the, oh, sorry, Christian, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, because I feel like there's a lot of people that want to start their own thing on the side, but
Yeah.
they may not necessarily like dislike their current career. Do you
Yeah.
think it's possible to be like a high performer in your day job, so to say, and then still build a successful business on the side? Is it kind of a spectrum? Is it, because I feel like there's a lot of people that are kind of, like you said, in the middle,
Yeah.
but there's probably a decision to make at some point, I would think.
My honest opinion is, if you're going to be someone who really excels at your day job and then excels at building a side business, I think you're not your average person. You're probably like towards the tip of the bell curve. I think it's harder today in 2025 than it was in 2015 because there's so many things competing for your time. Like there's so much opportunity and ways to spend your time. You definitely have to sacrifice a bit of your social life in your 20s. I went from being like a college party guy to, in my early 20s, like I never went to work hungover. I never went to work hungover. Like for some reason, like a switch was flipped when I started working. So the answer is like, no, it's not common. It's very uncommon. Not if I were to stand up here and be like, anyone can do it, I'd be like, it takes like a very specific kind of like intentional focus mentality. Like you're going to be, hustling pretty good. And I think the early 20s is the time to do it. I think it gets harder the older you get because you just get more obligations. Like your relationships get more serious. You start valuing your free time more. So I think the younger, the better when it comes to doing it that way. It's kind of a young man's game. If I were to start over again, it'd be hard to enter the workforce, be an employee, and then use my free time to spin up another business. That would be impossibly difficult at this stage in my life right now.
So if someone came to you and said, "Hey, I have a great job. I love it, but I've been working on this passion project with a couple of friends. We're building this. Whether it be a software, they're, brick and mortar kind of company, whatever it is. Like, what advice would you give to them at that stage when they're at that, say, $100,000 in revenue? What would you tell them to help them get better in this state, since it's, it is no longer 2015, it's 2025?
Yeah. Well, I see people get excited at all the usual things. People get really excited to name their business. People get really excited to design a logo, right? People love designing a business card. I saw an Instagram post from a close friend of mine in Colorado, and he was like listing accomplishments, and he was like filed a second LLC for another business. And my advice is to be like, you really have to look at where you put your time and effort and sort of split it into two categories. One is revenue generating, and everything that's not revenue generating is not. Designing a logo is not revenue generating. It costs your time and maybe some money. Filing an LLC is revenue negative. You are paying a fee to a state to simply file some paperwork for you. That doesn't make you money. And by the way, you don't need to file an LLC to make money. The government doesn't care if you're making it as a sole proprietor, filing it as 1099 income, or filing it under an LLC. It doesn't matter at all. Maybe when you make enough money, the LLC matters because then you have some real liability. But until then, I would say, look, all the exciting stuff, what should be exciting to you should be revenue generation. I like making money, and people who are really good at making money can figure everything else out. If you can't figure out how to make money, then you don't have anything figured out. You might have a great name and a great logo and file a patent. I don't know. But like, if there's no money in the door, you don't really have a business. So my advice to people is like, get good at making money and really learn how to prioritize your time and effort around things that are revenue generating. And if you find yourself sitting down doing something and it's like, it's not making it, this is not revenue generation, find someone else to do it, or do it really quick and get it off your plate so you can go back to focusing on revenue generation. That's probably my biggest piece of advice for people getting started.
All I can think about is I think you should leave with the driving crooner. There's got to be some way I can make money on this.
That's right. Hey, that's the right mentality. There's got to be a way to make money on it. That's the right mentality. So yeah, the best businesses I think are the ones that make a lot of money, and the people are like, I don't know what to do. This thing is taking off. This thing has traction. What do I do? And it's like, okay, well, now you probably want to put together an LLC. Now you might want to think about like some legal counsel. Let's see if you know anyone in your network who can get you started without billing you $500 an hour. Like don't go out of your way to do all the things first. You can literally go out there and make money. You can go and do a cash business and then just report your cash as income and pay your taxes so you don't get in trouble, or not. I don't care. But like at least you have a business. It's revenue positive. There's nothing that requires you to do anything before making money. That can come first. There's no prerequisite to making money. It's America. You can just go do it.
The other aspect, with TeamBuildr, with kind of the entire like overarching story that is TeamBuildr, right? And it's, has it been 16 years since the inception, essentially around that time?
2012. So yeah, I mean,
it's always been so adjacent, if not directly involved within coaching and performance and the entirety of that aspect of like that support staff as it expands and grows. With that being said, you've been around it for probably longer than, at this point, half the field of sport coaches or sports performance coaches. Like what's the biggest thing that you see right now as like a problem in the industry? Like what's your hot take?
That's a good question.
You almost have like a third person perspective without having to live in it directly.
Yeah.
So you're a little bit removed. You can actually kind of take a step back and look.
Yeah. It's a good point. So in sport performance, I think I think there's going to be the problem that I've noticed for a couple of years is that people kind of reach their peak, like in the profession, and there's not much of a path beyond it that is like well established. Like when you're a sport coach, you can kind of keep going, and then when you reach your peak, you're coaching an NFL team or a pro team or like a power forward team. As a strength coach, you can be an NBA strength coach and win a title like my good friends did in Denver. And then the next year it's like, okay, do it again. And then it's like kind of a game of survival. And I think, you really have to love it to like sign up for an NBA travel schedule and not make as much as the sport coaches do, the skills coaches. Like, is it sustainable? Like, can you raise like a family in the way you want to when you're doing that grind of a schedule? So like good now, young people kind of reach the peak, and you see some pretty young people coaching like Olympic teams and make their way up there. And then they sort of like, I don't know if this life is for me. Like I reached the top of the mountain and I'm 35 and they're like, can I do this till I'm 65? And what does the next 30 years look like? That's kind of a problem. I don't know if the industry could solve that for itself, but then that's where I think I see some people doing really cool, unique things. I just don't know how scalable it is. Like, for example, Brian, Ron McKeefrey kind of reached like a good peak. But when he was at Central Florida, or was it Southern Florida? I forget which school it was.
I think it was at USF.
Okay, he went to the library and started reading business books, and then he was like, business is going to be my ticket to like scale beyond being just a full-time strength coach. And then he started writing books and doing his podcast, and he became a business person. Not everyone can do that, but like that was Ron McKeefrey's way of sort of like being bigger than the career itself. And people get creative here. Like I've seen Peter Tierney go work for Lululemon and help him design clothes. And, some people get into athletics administration and become ADs or assistant ADs. I've seen it, but like, there's not a lot of paths beyond it. So you compete really hard to get the internship, the GA-ship, the assistant coach job, then the head coach job. And then once you look beyond the head coach job, it's really the next big job. And then there's not much else. You kind of have to blaze your own trail. So I think a lot of strength coaches, performance coaches could probably use, like a little bit more. Well, I don't know who's responsible for it. Like who's gonna take on the role of like talking to coaches about what happens after you reach your career peak. But like that's something that I see is a lot of coaches are in like the job that a lot of people desire, and they themselves are like, this is not what I'm going to be doing for 30 years. It's a grind.
So if that's a problem, and if most likely the industry probably doesn't solve itself, like right now in the industry, low pay, high hours it's been a thing for the past 30, 40 years since the inception.
Yeah.
And it's not in a place where those coaches are going to unionize. That's not going to be a thing.
Right.
And it's, if you don't want the job, that's great. They're not hurting anybody because some young kid who's 21 years old can take a 30 grand a year and they're going to break into the industry. So that system is set up so it won't have to change because there's an oversupply of coaches for the demand of probably, say, 500 jobs or whatever it is. How, if you were to intervene as a third party, like what would you do in order to facilitate the, I guess, like outward path, or at least like create a sustainable lifestyle for those coaches to help make that a possibility versus just being an observer?
Yeah. I probably like I to answer this, I kind of have to put myself in like the role of like an AD, and I probably would like make the strength budget sort of like attached to all the other athletics budgets. So like if the sports budget for baseball is X, like 10% always goes to strength and conditioning. And that way, as the sport budgets fluctuate, then the strength budget can fluctuate accordingly. I probably would do something like that. And that would bring some stability to like the sport performance budget, and therefore like hopefully create a larger staff, create like a more stable, budget and staff budget for strength and conditioning. And look, as far as a personnel problem, though, I don't know if I have the right answer. Like the fact that there are a lot of coaches applying for jobs, and then you got people who might stay in the head strength coach job for 10, 15, 20 years. I think that's totally fine. I wouldn't say you have to make those people move on at all. But, I mean, I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't know how I would solve it besides throw more money at it, create bigger staffs. Like everyone's understaffed in their S&C staff. So make a bigger staff for one, but like that's just more money. So I like to see more coaches get hired. I think if you have a 3-person strength coach staff working 60 hours a week, I'd like to see 5 people on that staff working 40 hours a week. Like if we could find a way to get there, that'd be really great. But I think that kind of comes down to money and budget allocation, right?
Very true.
Yeah, I think you're starting to see more people, strength coaches in particular, starting to do their own thing on the side. And naturally, it's going to be more geared towards training, like training people online. And that goes back to the how scalable is that. But I think people are a little bit afraid sometimes to look outside of their specific domain. They kind of got these blinders on and they don't think about like, oh, like designing clothing. I think back to when I was in high school, just watching a bunch of fitness YouTubers, and they would start these clothing brands or supplement brands. So obviously that's kind of up to the coach itself to take on that responsibility. But I think if people get to the top of that mountain, like you said, and are unsatisfied, or people are going to have to look outside of specifically like, okay, what can I do besides like writing programs and coaching? Because again, how scalable is that?
How scalable is it? I mean, I would take a strength coach in a college setting over like a personal trainer at your local Gold's Gym. But there's still a skills gap. The trainer is probably really good at their people skills with individuals and sales. The strength coach probably knows way more than the personal trainer, but probably has a little bit of a real world skills gap. And I see that's the first lowest hanging fruit. The shiny object is like, I'm going to train Gen Pop, right? I train these high level college athletes. Gen Pop shouldn't be hard. And that's true in terms of a knowledge thing, but like you've heard all the great coaches say it, like no one really cares how much you know. You kind of have to have like those people skills. Like, can you get people to be your client for a long time? Can you just be a pleasant person to be around for an hour 3 times a week? And the personal training, they have it. That area has its own kind of challenges. It's hard to be a personal trainer for a very long time. So I the people who kind of rise above it probably become gym owners, facility owners, online training businesses do really well if you can get them going. But the people who are good at online training are good at marketing. Like that's a marketing play. It may not matter that you were an MLB strength coach. Like once you start selling programs online, like you got to convert people online, and your resume is not enough. So definitely a skills gap gets built the longer you work in team sport and college athletics. And again, I go back to Ron McKeefe because that guy really did it. He bought the books, he did the work, and he kind of like found the right way to do it back then. Although the game's changed a little bit. Anyone can do a podcast now. Anyone can write a book now. He was kind of early to the game. I think if you're doing the game now in 2025, you got to pull some new bunnies out of the hat and find some new tricks that work, I think.
Yeah, like, at this point, there's such like, I don't want to say like an oversaturation, but everyone's kind of doing this. It's kind of like how Christian said, like the fitness industry, like the YouTubers, they all made clothing brands. Now every one of them that's big has a clothing brand, whether it be Alpha Leak, Gymshark, etc. Every coach can have a podcast. Every coach can have an Instagram and post their training. It's a copy and paste of what's going on and what's going on, but what differentiates you enough to bring people in. And I think that's where like a revenue generating skill set comes to play of what sets us apart that will bring people to us versus just listening to the same kind of podcast in our sense. Like, you know, it's X's and O's a lot of the time for a strength and conditioning kind of podcast. But what else is there to offer in that aspect? Are they going to get some kind of education that they wouldn't get in the same spot somewhere else, or a bit of a laugh or whatever it is? With that being said, do you think that there's probably a little bit of an education gap in the sense of like not having a well-rounded skill set, but it's almost like when strength coaches go to college, and college was the idea of very diverse education to make you well-rounded as an individual to be applicable in a lot of settings, versus a technical school. It was like, get really good at this one skill. It's almost like the college aspect has failed a lot of strength coaches or performance coaches coming into the industry, to where it was an elongation of a technical skill route to be very good at like one specific thing and then never be broad enough to be applicable elsewhere, even if they did end up learning skills down the road. I think that's probably something that hurts us more than anything.
You hear it all the time from people, like strength coaches will get someone fresh out of their kinesiology, you know, or a grad program. They're like, okay, throw out everything you learned. Like, just throw it out. Because now you're in the real world. And that's kind of disheartening to hear. Like, you just get the degree to check a box to get in. And then once you get in, they're like, hey, doesn't matter what you learned. I don't care about your thesis. Look what I'm dealing with over here.
We got an honorary second guest.
Unbelievable, right? This guy.
Bonus episode.
I'm going to kick this kid out. Hey, I don't know if this is the part you edit out, but I'm going to kick this kid out and put him in front of a TV is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to come back and finish the serious discussion. Hey, I'm doing business. Let's get out of here.
Entrepreneur, quarterback, most of all,
Dad.
Dude, I'll tell you what. His son, I met him. That kid can lay a punch.
Yeah?
He threw on some boxing gloves. He's got a rocket arm.
The Hulk hands?
Dude, he was in like Everlast boxing gloves. And he squared up and just...
He graduated from the Hulk hands.
Yeah.
Wow.
No longer Hulk hands, but he's got the Hulk smash.
How's that Fit Aid treating you?
Dude, I killed this already.
I'm about 2/3 in.
I get a subtle, like, dude, if I have a cold brew, I'm too jittery. Like, the Fit Aid has just kind of given me like a subtle buzz. I can't go for like a higher.
You can't do like a rain or a bang. That's like too full throttle for you.
I do. I can't think straight. You know, like I love multitasking. I'm an uppers guy. Like, I love coming in and getting buzzed. But like sometimes I'm just like those things get me too jacked. And my perfect combo is like that 200 milligram in the morning. And then around like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, I drink a Focus Aid. And the Focus Aid is perfect because it like gets me through the last couple hours in the day. And that stuff, like sometimes you almost get pissed off at people if they distract you when you have a focus aid. Like, I don't know what's in the focus aid. It's those things. You know the word for it, right, Brian?
CoQ10, nootropics. Yeah.
Nootropics.
Yeah.
Nootropics.
drugs.
When someone interrupts you and you're like nootropics are firing, you're almost like, this is
Irritated.
annoying, irritating. Yeah, you're like, I'm doing something right now. I don't know how that works, but it's crazy.
So what are you hitting? Are you taking anything before you go to the gym?
No.
You're just raw dogging the gym.
Raw.
I'm sometimes like my doctor, like my functional medicine doctor is like a bodybuilder guy, and he like has this thing where you take a teaspoon of honey and you sprinkle some salt on it and you just like down that before you go to the gym. That works. If I remember to do it, I'll do it. But I don't go to the gym looking to get like crazy pumps because I go later in the day. If I go to the gym at 5 and I get hyped up off like a pre-workout, I may not go to sleep till like 11.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
Just don't sleep. Yeah, like Brian.
That's
Yeah,
3
like
or 4
Brian.
hours a day that you can be productive.
I can't afford that. But I was just texting a group chat, like my high school group chat. I worked out this morning, and Linkin Park came on, and I remember, like, dude, in high school, Linkin Park and NO Explode, that combo was hard to beat. That was just like, I went to high school from 2004 to 2008. That was the combo. Or
Jack 3D.
The original.
I was introduced to that in college, and I was like, this stuff is crazy. I had Jacked is good. And then it was the Carter. When the Carter came out and NO Explode, that combo in a high school weight room, that was hard to beat. That was like that was the best buzz you could get.
You were putting up a good bench press that day.
You're a young testosterone-filled teenage boy, you got acne all over your face, just all hopped up on NO Explode, just blasting Linkin Park. Strong, gangly and strong, skinny strong.
And just go crush a Little Caesars pizza for $5 afterwards.
Dude, isn't it true how like a high school kid could beat the shit out of you? They have like that skinny high school kid testosterone strength where they're just like horny and like all pumped up. Yeah, I might be like 30 pounds bigger than this kid, but like this kid's strong as hell. I'm not going to mess with him.
Yeah, he's got that crackhead energy.
Seriously.
If it's a live or die situation, how many high school kids you think you is your limit to take?
Dude, you want to talk? Well, I think I would struggle with like one strong high school kid right now. But if you want to go, do you want to go to the original scenario?
The original scenario is the best scenario.
The original one?
Yes.
Okay. Brian graciously was walking me home one night. This is like on a work trip. We went out. I drank way too much, and he's like walking me home. I was fine, but he was just being a good guy. And I thought it was hilarious that Brian was walking me home. And so I was like, what are you scared of, Brian? Scared some homeless guy's going to jump me? I was like, don't you think I could take one homeless guy? I could probably take like 5, 6. And Brian was like, no, that's a lot of homeless guys. And I'm like, no. I've had 3,400 calories today. These guys are like emaciated. Just no vitamins. They don't take a multivitamin. I take a multivitamin. They're like on methadone. Like I'm hydrated, not right now, but generally. So I'm like, no, Brian, you're thinking about it all wrong, dude. Like these guys are not. They're not in good shape. Trust me, they're not hitting the weight room. They probably had 600 calories today. Like they couldn't last very long. They'd be depleted. So it comes down to how many emaciated homeless guys could you take on 1v multi. And then you start introducing weapons, and things get really interesting.
We talked about a chain, and then that brought into the conversation. If what was it? It was like a zombie apocalypse. You got to pick one item from a weight room.
Oh, I
to
love
be a
that
weapon.
one.
Like,
I
what's
love
your
that
item?
one. People go for big things. I'm like, you don't want big.
You got to
things.
swing that. It's heavy.
It gets heavy.
You got to think about you're swinging that 500-600 times in some kind of fight.
Yeah, people go for heavy things. I don't like it.
The chain might be the
chain is
the way to go.
Yeah, that was
you're talking about the manual neck chain. The manual neck chain.
Exactly. You just keep swinging and do 360s. That's all you have to do.
I don't know if it counts, Brian, but like you can put like a little 2.5 on the end of it. Then you have a little bit of a little blunt force trauma at the end of that chain.
See, my thing was take like the cable stack, the pin loaded. Take the cable and wrap it around like the 2.5 first plate. I'm out there like a ninja, just like winging that thing around.
Hey, Brian, I like taking the pin. and sharpening it against the cinder block wall.
There you go.
And then you attach it to the end of the cable, and now you have a sharp object on the end, and that could be really dangerous.
That's jailhouse rules. It's an apocalypse. You have to.
If you have the time, sharpen the pen by all means. Hey, I've always stuck with the same answer for this, and I can't think of anything that I'd like more than taking the 2.5s, one in each hand. Because now you can deflect with the 2.5s, but they're light enough so that when you can get a little velocity.
It's not slowing you down.
It's not slowing you down. So I just have two 2.5s, and I tape them around my hand so I can't lose them. And if you come at me with anything, I could just deflect, and then I get in real close, and then I'm 2.5 right to the rib cage, or a 2.5 to the jugular to finish it. But you probably learn some sick combos with the 2.5s. And if you're really scared, just go gank some 2.5s from your gym and bring them home, and then just work on some combos downstairs,
Shadow boxing.
Just shadow boxing.
Just, hey, close the door, close the curtains, crank the music, and it's like, I got to work with my 2.5s for about
Hone your
25
craft.
minutes. Keep the skills sharp.
Hone your craft.
Yeah, just
The wife's coming up. What's going on? Nothing. Just
Nothing.
training.
Hey,
Why are you
open the door.
sweating?
What are you doing?
I was watching Cops.
Practicing with my 2.5s?
Yeah.
What does it look like I'm doing?
Why are you sweating?
I was watching Cops. I know that's a lie because Cops isn't until 4.
4.
Does anyone else? What are some other good ones from 08? What are some other weapons that we're not thinking of in 08?
I feel like the shoulder saver kind of maces, but if you get the real light ones,
Yeah, you have to get a light one.
the 5-pound with mace.
You'd have to be like in a Joe Rogan on it gym. Like they have to have what the maces to begin with. They're one of those free spirit gyms,
Yeah,
You
the kettlebells have a
The
gorilla on them.
kettlebells, yeah.
Like a little bit of DMT and a couple of maces.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in that gym.
See, shot putting a kettlebell would work, but the reload time is just a little slow, and then you have to retrieve it, or you have to have multiple at your disposal.
Yeah.
See, now if you go to if you're at an Olympic training center, the easiest decision is go get a javelin.
It's true.
It's 8.8 ounces.
Just a spear.
And you can stab. And
Wait, is it really 8 ounces?
Yeah, they're super light.
Oh, that's very light.
I think it's 8.8 ounces.
Oh, you can get some velocity on that. I didn't realize they were that light.
Oh yeah, and there's
you could spear someone really easily with 8-9 ounce.
You're fighting off. You get one in each hand. This is Sparta, and there you go. You're just you're set.
That would take some you have to build some skills up to get with 2 because you can kind of get clanky.
Brother, I'm like the Star Wars kid in my garage, just spinning that thing around.
Oh yeah. Now, what if you had all the time in the world to assemble a full kit that you could travel with? Maybe carving foam rollers, building shoulder pads.
You have a plate carrier vest.
The plate carrier vest.
Yes.
If you have those fancy Kevlar medicine balls, that Kevlar
Make a vest.
You have to use the Kevlar. Just Kevlar it out and medicine ball Kevlar.
You have an iron neck on your head. Just
You gotta put that iron neck on your head.
Oh my gosh.
Could take one half of the dumbbell off and just have it be like a club.
Yeah.
Oh, love that. I like taking the Bochy ball and just tearing off the plastic, and you got a shield. Just turn the Bochy ball into a plastic shield. In one arm. That's a good one.
Depending on the VBT, if they have the actual steel cable in it, you got a retractable
Oh yeah, you could come up behind someone and just
a little noose.
Piano wire
cable.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you got that's your little quiet assassin tool. Put the sharp object away and get the little cable out. Get your shoes off.
I mean, one of the best ones is go a transformer bar. It's got those long handles. Unscrew them. You got 2 clubs.
Yeah.
Those are only 3 pounds.
Yeah, I like a tsunami bar is a good a Joe staff. If you
That
want
would
to
be good.
Like a bow staff. Use a
Yeah, it's
tsunami
got some
bar.
bend to it.
A little whip on it. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, we took this thing way off the rails, didn't we?
A little bit.
That's okay.
We were having a serious discussion before this.
Yeah, about how to make the industry better, but that's okay. This is also important.
That's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we do here.
I don't know. This industry's fucked. We might as well just keep the weight room discussion going. I'm kidding. Okay. I don't
It's all
know.
downhill from here. We better prepare for the end of the world anyway.
Yeah, right.
It's true.
Hewitt, we'd be remiss not to talk about energy drinks on Bev Boys. If you had to pick right now your top 3 energy drinks, the brand, the flavor,
Yeah.
what would that be?
Well, like isn't like the full sugar original Red Bull just like a classic? It just like tastes so classically good. Like with a vodka for party, or just like I'm gonna drink a Red Bull. I haven't drank one of these bad boys in a while. Like that taste is so unique. I think the original full sugar Red Bull is like in the top 3 for me. Maybe
Okay.
it's just that it's been around a long time, so it's like a nostalgic thing. But that taste just never has gotten old. It's kind of like the Coca-Cola of the original Coke of like energy drinks, in my opinion. Does Four Loko count?
As long as it's the original recipe with the
Yeah.
The original was so crazy. God, that thing was wild. It's got alcohol. I wouldn't throw it in the energy drink space.
It's a
I don't
vodka
think I
Red
would-
Bull before it's just pre-mixed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, pre-mixed. Yeah. Let's see. I mean, man, I love Fit Aids. I think I got to put the Fit Aid in there. Like, it's just a consistent everyday for me. Like now, the blackberry pineapple flavor, they got to discontinue it. It's not that good. What is that? What you like it?
I got that today. I think this is
You
like one
like
of the
it?
better Fit Aid flavors.
Oh, okay.
What do you
Is it
think
like
about
grape one
this?
I love that one, raspberry hibiscus. Now, my wife says that one tastes like cough medicine. She's like, it tastes like fake, like too artificial, is what she says.
I think it's all right.
I
The
think it's
grape
okay
one-
too.
The grape one that you gave me at your house, that was solid.
Oh yeah, was
Oh,
that
I've
a
never-
party aid or what was that?
It was a Fit Aid Energy
Oh, it
grape
was.
flavor. I don't
Oh,
know
okay.
where you got it or who at Fit Aid that you've been
Yeah.
talking to, but you have the biggest stash of Fit Aid I've ever seen in my
I've
life.
got a big stash. I get even though I don't love blackberry pineapple, I just order the variety pack every time because like I rotate the flavors. Mango is a great one. Mango sorbet. That's what I've been
Had
on.
that one.
Yeah, I like mango sorbet. So, I mean, I really like the Fit Aid. That one's up there for me. And then let's see if I'm really looking to just get absolutely zooted, just like zooted, like last day of the bachelor party kind of thing, right? I'm probably grabbing the OG Monster. The OG Monster Green Sludge, whatever you want to call it. You just know it's going to work every time. And I'll probably go for that. Yeah, I haven't like gotten to like I haven't delved into like the next generation of energy drinks too much. I've been on the Fit Aid train too long. But like I remember in college and after college, like a Monster every once in a while was like that's going to hit the spot. And then a Red Bull, I could just drink the Red Bull for the taste. I mean, it's just such a classic OG Red Bull taste. No one's really made a flavor that kind of compares to Red Bull, in my opinion. It's kind of, for some reason, just been very unique to itself. Do you guys know anything that tastes like Red Bull?
So Ghost Energy made one specifically to put in bars, and it's the classic flavor of energy drinks, and it's supposed to mimic the Red Bull. I haven't gotten my hands on it yet, but
Interesting.
if we go to Vegas and we go to like a Knights game, we can actually go to the Ghost Suite.
No way.
Yeah, so they have a full like bar suite there where they make all their mixed drinks with Ghost energy drink flavors.
How do we get into the Ghost Suite? Do we know someone, or is it just like anyone can go?
I think you might be able to just like buy a ticket and go in, but
Okay.
At this point, TeamBuildr, we're like Ghost Energy in the software space. So
I just linked in the guy, and he'll hook me up.
We got to get a hold of Dan and Ryan at Ghost and see if we can get in there.
Yeah. I'll give it a try for you if you want. Look,
I would love that.
I started drinking the Ghost just to kind of like when you introduced me to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little sweet for my taste. Maybe I'm getting the wrong flavor, but like it's definitely on the sweeter side of the spectrum.
It is.
Yeah, and I'm not a big sweet guy, and like that Kim Kardashian one, Alani New.
Oh.
You guys had any of those?
Yes.
Alani New has the worst ranking on Bev Boys.
Really?
In all of our history, yeah.
I mean, I don't
I
love
think it's
it.
worse than Gridlock.
Gridlock, you gotta take the price.
Okay.
It's 89 cents a can, brother.
That's true.
So, like the Cosmic Stardust flavor of Alani, it is very unique. I do like that it's like I've never had this flavor before, but it starts sweet and it finishes sweet, and it's just too sweet. And the buzz is just not really worth it, right?
No. And I think you almost like taste the tin can that it's in with the
Oh,
erythritol.
yeah.
And that bugs me as like an aftertaste.
Yeah. And then the fact that it's like a Kardashian thing, that's not my vibe. So like, I don't like people who just throw their names on things and then make a bunch of money. It's like, that's unfair. That's just too easy.
So if you're making your own energy drink, if you were to make like the Hewitt Tomlin like signature energy drink, what's your caffeine content? What's your size of your can?
Yeah.
What's your flavor? And are you going
Yeah.
to put any other ingredients in there?
So, Brian, what's the thing that like makes your skin kind of itch a little bit? Is that phenylalanine?
Beta-alanine.
Beta-alanine. I kind of like that feeling. I haven't had it in a while. What should I buy at 7-Eleven to get the beta-alanine?
C4 ready to drink.
C4 will do it?
in it. Yep, they have 2 grams of beta-alanine in them.
And what is it? Just kind of tingles your skin? What's the point?
So it's a pH balancer. So it just rebalances your hydrogen ions, and then it'll essentially prolong your activity without like pushing into the lactic threshold as easily.
Oh, okay. So it's a pre-workout.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is phenylalanine? Am I saying that right? Do you know?
Pheromones?
No, not pheromone. I think you're the one who taught me this word. Anyway, I'll have to Google it, or maybe someone.
Okay.
And maybe if I try to spell this out, it'll give me like a result. But anyway, in my energy drink, I've always liked it. I like the way it makes me feel. It kind of has like that energy, but it's not jittery. Like it's kind of getting the jitters without jitters, is how I put it. And I do kind of like that. Skin crawl, yeah, it's kind of like a skin crawl. But it's not like I can't type on my keyboard. So I can't make an energy drink that would make you like so jittery you can't type. I wouldn't like that. I think 200 milligrams is a good amount. I don't want to go higher. I think 220 is probably okay. Like if you're trying to get zooted, 220, 240 is good. Anything higher, probably a little too much.
300 is too much.
I think 300 is too much. Like I could do it. I'm not a Nancy boy, but I just I'm not in my peak state at 300. Let's put it that way. Okay, I probably have to put some
nootropics.
200 milligrams and nootropics probably turns me into like not a cool guy. Like I don't want to be a not cool guy.
Or maybe you're an absolute corporate weapon.
Corporate
Have
weapon.
you ever tried Gorilla Mind? Because that's exactly what
No,
that
I
is.
have not tried Gorilla Mind. Where do you get Gorilla Mind?
Hewitt, next time I see you, I'm gonna get a can of Gorilla Mind Black Cherry Vanilla in your hand.
I'll try
exactly what that
I'll try
is.
all this stuff, guys. Like my body is not a temple, let me tell you.
It's an amusement
I'll
park.
go to 7-Eleven and get all this stuff and try it out for you ASAP. I just want to make sure I know what I'm getting into. Can I get Gorilla Mind at the 7-Eleven?
Probably more like a vitamin shop.
Yeah.
Vitamin shop.
But you'll love it.
The type of vitamin shop near me. Gorilla Mind near me.
Gorilla Mind. The black can.
All right. I can get C4 though at the
Any gas station, probably, yeah.
But I probably want to have a meal before and then like go work out or do something after. Like you can't have a C4 then have just like a blank day, right? What happens to you? It turns like a little deviant.
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
You could go goblin mode.
God, you can go goblin mode around the neighborhood. Like this guy took a C4 and he had no agenda to his day, so here he is just running around. Dude, should I run an experiment where I try to play golf with like a high potency energy drink and just see what happens?
Yes, grab a Bang.
Tempo. So what's the deal with Bang? Is Bang at the top of the top?
That's like 300 milligrams.
300 milligrams.
That and rain.
Rain. And what else is in there that's doing stuff to you? Just the caffeine or?
It's mainly the caffeine, and then there's going to be a little bit of taurine, which technically is more hydration, but it can amplify the effects of caffeine.
Oh, it can?
Yeah.
So taurine is like an accelerant.
Almost, yeah.
Interesting. So Bang is when you want to get after it.
Bang's when you want to feel really bad about what you did, but you black out and you have 30 minutes of like really big activity.
Oh, okay. You're like the rock star of the party for 30 minutes. Or longer. 30 milligrams sounds like you're going to be around for longer than 30 minutes, I would hope.
Yeah. You're probably not going to be super like proud of what happened after. But...
Oh, okay. You're saying you're not like passed out. You're still around. You're just not with it. Okay, I get it.
Because you're so geeked.
You geeked, totally geeked out. Do you guys? So you guys rank the energy drinks? Do you ever? I would like a guide, like if for this, drink this, and if you're looking to drink this, expect to do this. That would be
That's
helpful
right.
for me.
We need a decision
100%.
tree,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need
like
a
an algorithm.
that would help me out because I'll dabble, but I'd like to know what I'm getting into and how I can. So a pairing, you could do it like a instead of a food pairing, an activity pairing. This is what this activity pairs well with this energy drink.
If this,
I
drink
actually
this.
love that. I actually love that. Like a
Yeah,
guide to
that's
energy
good.
drinks.
I mean, you guys are essentially energy drink sommeliers. I don't know if you guys knew that about yourselves, but you're a som, baby. And look, your guys are master soms. You might as well start recommending the pairings and telling people. You tell them what to eat and say bon appetit. You're gonna like it.
Christian,
You never
got
thought
anything?
of it that way, did you? You might have to throw it on your
No.
resume. Energy
Open.
drink sommelier level
Yeah,
1.
honestly, that's
Yeah.
unique.
Just a
No one else
little
has
pop-up
that.
shop.
No one else has that. That's right. You got to have an edge in this world. It's
Yeah, that's what
2025.
separates me.
Yeah, that's what sets you apart. Well, have you ever talked to an energy drink sommelier?
Yeah,
This
you went to
2021.
Harvard, but I went.
We have a nice 2021 Ghost Lifestyle Sour Pink Lemonade.
Yeah,
that pairs,
that's right.
That pairs greatly with this
This is a
Grey
vintage,
Goose and
a
pepperoni
vintage
pizza.
2009 Four Loko. You will not find these anymore.
That might actually go for like $400.
I might pay a couple $100 for an original Four Loko. Absolutely, absolutely.
The original Mr. Hyde would go for a lot of money too, or Jack 3D
Yeah.
formula.
Oh, yeah, it's the Jack 3 formula. It's Dunzo, right? But like there can be some
Yeah.
originals laying around.
Yeah,
There's probably
in
something
storage.
out there super
Yeah.
clumped up, but if we could break it
that's
apart.
Tough. Yeah, the little silicone packet didn't work.
Hewitt, like as not to get serious on us now, but as a CEO, as a co-founder, a dad, a fitness aficionado, I've seen you tackle different lifts, skiing competitions. Like what does your continuing education look like? Is that like just leadership? Is it skill sets? Do you enjoy still learning about like training itself? Like what do you do when you're like, I want to learn something? Like where does the knowledge snacks, if you will, where do those go?
Well, I think like I'm 34 now. I'm not the most mature person in the world, but I think when as you mature, you start learning from like more common situations. You learn about what mistakes people have made, and you probably start triangulating better like what made people successful without them necessarily telling you. You know, people do interviews and write books, like they're kind of putting their best foot forward and they're kind of polishing off a lot of what they say and what they're writing. I think you probably learn to just be a little bit better at making your own observations from observing people. And I think that has come with time, but I certainly enjoy that. I don't necessarily have to talk to someone who's older and more successful than me and have to ask them like, what's your advice for me? Or what mistakes did you make? Like those specific questions, I think sometimes don't yield as much information as you would think they would. And I think just necessarily spending time with them, and making observations, just the words they choose to use and the cadence with which they speak and where they allocate their time. And that's kind of where you start picking up and learning more just from these everyday interactions than you do from like these like specific profound insights that you think that you have to get all the time. So as far as like specific sources, I mean, I found this great woman on TikTok and she's like a career kind of body language coach. And her stuff is so good. I don't even know her name, but like she'll pop up in my feed because like I followed her and she's great. And just little things like, hey, don't ever ask someone again, how are you doing? You'll never get like a satisfactory answer from someone when you say, how's it going? You have to ask them, what's something that's been exciting you lately? What have you been working on that's exciting? Completely different way of asking sort of the same thing, right? And she has so many of those. So like that's one example of many. I mean, there's all sorts of really brilliant people that are putting out some great things. And I'm really interested myself now in sort of learning how to I like things like body language and just kind of like how you speak and structure your conversations. So like I'm a CEO, but I've started, and I have been for a while, but I think I've started embracing that role a lot more lately. So kind of looking at like who's a great CEO, like who's in the pantheon, and like what made them so good. And of course, they have a lot of things in common with all other CEOs, like smart, hardworking, and things like that. But like a lot of the good ones just like presented themselves really well. They sort of commanded the room when they spoke. They just used this very specific language at their company that kind of like shaped the culture. So I've been interested in that. Just, it's not necessarily public speaking, but it's more like how do you conduct conversations and hold conversations with people um, to get the most out of them and inspire them. I've kind of been on that track for a little bit and for like playing the role, you kind of emulate the great ones. And so there's a bunch of ways to do it, but I've kind of been less into the reading lately. I've been more into like watching. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. There's some really good stuff on YouTube. And you can kind of see people. And I think the more you watch them and emulate them, I watched this great video on Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey has this like very distinct presence anytime he walks into a room. If he's on a late night show or if he's on the sideline at a Texas football game, Matthew McConaughey does everything very slow. He never rushes into a room. He always kind of strides into a room. And when you ask him a question, he doesn't start with a quick answer right away. He'll kind of just kind of listen, kind of look, and then look back and then give an answer. He just kind of does everything at his own pace. So he doesn't let his environment sort of dictate his own pace. And that's a big part of his aura, is that he's always at his own pace no matter the environment. And he's the slow and chill guy. And he's always kind of speaking profoundly because he's not letting anything sort of rush his speech or rush his mannerisms. I was so interested in that video. So like there's so many examples like that out there. And a lot of that stuff is on YouTube. So yeah, I've been kind of interested in that.
That's really cool. I was interested to hear your answer on that because just thinking back to revenue generating versus non-revenue generating activities.
Mm-hmm.
If you even like did that, if you're like, okay, is this considered revenue generating or not revenue generating? Because I think you can get in the habit of just like always thinking you need to keep learning something, like, oh, I don't know enough about this, without actually like trying to implement or trying to like get out there and make a little mistake. So that's interesting to hear your take on that. It's a little bit different than I think other people would approach that kind of continuing ed part.
Yeah. Yeah. At this stage in my career, I'm still selling, but I'm just selling like not software. I'm sort of selling like the opportunity of being in business with me. So went to New York 2 weeks ago. I had an in-person meeting with a guy for a project, and I was pitching him something like how I presented myself, how I appeared, what I wore. All that stuff matters because you have what you're pitching, and then you also are pitching like your relationship, like your association. And at the end of the day, like, do I want to do business with this person? Do I want to spend time with this person? You have to make yourself appear like someone that is going to make them better and that they want to spend time with. This goes for like the CEOs of our biggest clients, D1 and Play. You want to come to the table with something to add. You're adding to the table. And sometimes that can just be your energy, like if they get done with a call with me, even though we didn't specifically talk about anything or make a conclusive decision, if it's 30 minutes and they're like, that guy, I like that guy. That guy's high energy. That guy, he's on it. He's got a contagious kind of positivity about him. Kind of like honing in on how to, be that person and bring that personality to the table alone, I think will open a lot of doors because, that's the easiest sell, I think, is just bringing a really good contagious energy, good positive energy. People want to be around it and they'll continue to try to, find reasons to be around you and work with you until you're working on something really specific. But in the meantime, they don't mind it because you're not draining them of energy. You're not draining them of time. You're sort of, complimenting them, building them up.
I have a feeling that this is going to be very eye-opening for a lot of the listeners. Like at this point, this is definitely like kind of an offshoot of a lot of what we talk about. Over the past couple of guests that we've had, it's been a lot of performance coaches, whether it be, P4 all the way down, whatever it is. But now it's like a complete flip side of not just your skills in this one directed thing, but it's almost like a life lesson of like your person and the opportunity of like selling yourself versus selling what you can maybe immediately do for someone or what skill sets you have, but like the aspect of like being in business with someone or employing someone or getting the next job of I want that person. It's not just I want that skill set and what they provide as a one-to-one transactional thing, but that relationship.
Selling yourself, often used. I probably think of it more like opportunity generation, sort of like as opposed to revenue generation. I'm trying to harvest a lot of opportunities. And the more people you meet, the more people like you and like spending time with you, they're going to want to share opportunities with you or find a way to do business. Um, I'm in the opportunity generation phase of my career at this point. I'm trying to meet a lot of people, talk to a lot of people, turn over a lot of stones, and sort of find like big needle moving opportunities for my business. I can optimize process all day with Brian's team, with the sales team, with the marketing team, but I'm fighting at the margins there. And my job has been to teach Brian and the other leaders at the company to fight at the margins and optimize process. And me at the top, I'm out there trying to find big needle movers, things that will really shift things in a positive direction materially. That's the best use of my time. And a lot goes into that. You have to go out there and sort of find, where the opportunity is. It doesn't always come to you. But I think the more people you talk to, the more you try to like bring value to others, and you keep doing that over and over and over again, day in, day out, then hopefully you see a lot of opportunities that you have to pick and choose the best one for you. It's better than being like, I don't have a lot of opportunities right now. Right now, it's better to be like, I've got a lot to choose from, and now I'm just going to pick one or two and really invest in those and sort of say no to the others. That's kind of what happens when you become a star athlete. Bryson DeChambeau, that's his agent is who I met with 2 weeks ago. He's the biggest star in golf. His agent told me, he said, my job is I'm Santa Claus. I bring him gifts, and he just chooses which one he wants to do. They come from big brands, they come from small brands, but everyone is asking to give him something, and all he has to do is say, yeah, that sounds good, or no, I'm not really feeling that. Like, does it sound like a better life than that? But Bryson's in the 0.001% of people in the world. Like, he built this great personal brand being a professional athlete. For people like us, we got to go out there and still kind of generate these opportunities.
With doing that so much in the aspect of like meeting people, having like real conversations and having that like, I don't want to say selling of like opportunity, like how do you fight feeling like a disingenuous, like you see it so much of like the disingenuous salesman of like all these people on YouTube, and they're like, I'm going to sell you because that's what I do. I'm a salesman. Like what separates someone who's doing it authentically that helps like convert like a in fostering like a genuine relationship? Like where do you start when you approach that conversation that makes it different?
Yeah, and somewhere between being disingenuous and being really genuine is like the imposter syndrome, somewhere in the middle, where you're like, look, I'm not trying to be anyone that I'm not. I just don't feel like I don't know if I am like this person. I don't know if I am this role or capable of it. I don't know. I probably have like a naturally assertive personality, and I could sort of choose to take on a role and then work my way into it. You still got to be authentic. I think at the end of the day, for me, I think a good way of me being authentic with folks is I'm really honest about our company and like our company's ambitions. I'm not really like, I don't really do like keep cards close to the chest sort of thing. I'll tell people how many employees we have. I'll tell them how much revenue we're doing. I'll tell them how our company is structured, how much debt we have, and what my goal is. And I think if I just put all that on the table, they're like, okay, this guy's just kind of coming out and saying it. Like, TeamBuildr is not a business I want to sell anytime soon. I'm really interested in growing TeamBuildr because I'm curious to know if I'm able to grow it. I could treat TeamBuildr like a lifestyle business, probably take more time off and play more golf and just kind of keep things even keel. But no, I think I'm too young and too energetic to do that. And I'll just tell someone that. And like right then and there, I'm kind of spilling the beans. Like, here's my deal. Here's where I'm at. So if you feel shortcomings, you definitely don't want to be the person that's like, hey, I've got shortcomings. Let me tell you about all my weaknesses or how I haven't accomplished as much as I thought I would by my age. Like, you may not want to start with that, but you probably want to rehearse in your brain a little bit about like how you're at peace with where you are now, and then how you can communicate that in the context of like what you're looking to accomplish. I think that's really important. I think it's okay to say like, hey, I thought by this point in my career I might have been at this, and I'm not, and that's okay. Some external things happen, but I'm not worried about it. I'm still happy, energetic, and I'm pursuing things. And that kind of honesty goes a long way, I think, in like fighting off the disingenuousness that you're trying to avoid, but also letting people know that I'm striving to be a better version, and I'm in the process of doing that. And I'm doing that now with you, maybe.
Awesome.
Nice.
Frenchie?
So, because I can assume at this point you're presented with a lot of opportunities, whether it's like with TeamBuildr or like maybe on a personal level. How do you decide what's worth saying yes to and worth saying no to? Like, what's best for TeamBuildr? Because I feel like that could be probably tough, especially when you have more opportunities available to you.
Yeah, I think it definitely starts with the conversation with yourself and knowing yourself. I think I know at this point what things I could get excited about and what things I couldn't get excited about. If a company came along and was like, hey, we want to do a strategic partnership with TeamBuildr, and it was like a legacy equipment manufacturer, I could probably know really quickly right then and there, like, hey, this is a good opportunity, but I'm just not excited about working with a legacy barbell manufacturer. Like, it's just not exciting for me. Or if it's a wearables company, like, I'm not that excited about wearables as a space. If Woot came along and really asked a lot of TeamBuildr to do a partnership, I would probably say, hey, I'm just not that excited about the wearable space. It kind of knowing like what excites you, and then being conscious about pursuing opportunities there, I think is a big part. If you take on an opportunity or a project and it's not fully exciting to you, you're probably not going to do your best work. So like one of my side projects right now is this golf fitness app. And I love golf. I love it. And I love fitness. I've been working in fitness. Perfect. That makes so much sense to me. If a kid from my college was like, hey, I want you to be a board member, I'm setting up a nonprofit for this. Right now, I'm not really that concerned with the nonprofit. I probably will be later in life. Like, we donate on behalf of TeamBuildr, but it's not yet my passion, right? I'm still like doing for-profit business. I probably would say, hey man, I just don't know if I could help because I wouldn't be able to bring like my full self to the table here for your nonprofit. So I have a good idea in mind of like what I like and what I like to work on and the kind of work that I do. That probably is knowing oneself probably. I mean, if you don't know, you're like, I don't know what excites me. You probably just have to keep thinking about it and probably have to make some mistakes along the way. You might work on something that wasn't that fun to find out you don't like it. So part of the learning experience, I guess you could say.
Perfect. French, we ready to wrap this thing up?
I got one more fun question before we leave. If you could have,
I knew it.
You already know it. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? Like, no limitations.
Some of these things I've been thinking about recently. I thought about like what's the show on Prime? Hey, what are you doing? What's the show on Prime with Homelander? Remember Homeland? What is it?
The Boys.
The Boys. Homelander has these awesome superpowers, but he has X-ray vision. X-ray vision is like sneakily very helpful to have. I don't know why. I just think like just walking around and being able to like see everything all the time, it's like sneakily good because like you're just always aware of your surroundings and where people are, like what's going on behind walls and stuff. Being transparent is like too sleuthy. Like it's kind of creepy. You could definitely let transparency get out of hand. Flying is cool, but you have to do it by yourself. No one can fly with you. So you're like, I'm bored as fuck. I'm just flying around by myself. So I kind of like the X-ray thing because then you're kind of, I don't know. I just thought it would be like a very handy one to have. Like you're always looking for things, so you could be like, I know where everything is because like I just see where everything is through everything. I don't know. I just kind of like X-ray vision. I think that's an underrated one.
I love it.
Love it.
The Boys is so good though. Like, oh, am I out? Hey, this is my microphone.
Back on the phone.
This kid, I'm telling you. Oh God! Now I'm back to the camera. Is my volume still good?
Yeah, you're good.
Dude, that show is really good for making you think about superpowers.
And the bad that it does, like it exasperates like their bad qualities.
Yes. It's that was a good one. I was late to that show, but like it had some good stuff in there.
Oh yeah. Hewitt, how we close the show every time. We're gonna rank our drinks. So you have the golf aid.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna rank it on price, the look of the can, the ingredients, and of course, one of the most important things is your taste. And you give it a ranking 1 through 10.
Okay.
It's kind of Portnoy scale, so
okay.
There can only be one perfect 10.
All right. This is not a perfect 10. I'll say that. I like the look of the Fit Aids. I think it's a good marketable look. Like it's sporty and then it's kind of like healthy looking all in one. It's not Monster, I'll tell you that. You want to try it? He was going to try my golf aid. The Citrus Island flavor that I have here is good. It's better than any of those 4 flavors that come in the high caffeine drinks. As far as how it makes me feel, I feel about the same. I feel like I didn't drink anything at all, to be honest with you. I'm going to go play golf after this. That might impact the rating.
You got a follow up.
I would say mine because I didn't get any like I don't feel sharper or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a buzz. I would say I gave it like a 6.5 because I like the taste and I like the look and that's about it. I'm not really getting anything here or here. So yeah, 6.5.
French, what do you got on the raspberry hibiscus? I think you're muted.
This guy's on mute.
I think your mic might have died.
Oh my gosh, the laugh mic.
On the Iowa man himself. I'll go in the meantime. Fitted, I got the Energy Plus, 200 milligrams of caffeine. Honestly, the can is growing on me. Like you said, Hewitt, it's sporty, but it's definitely not your typical like obscene like kind of logos like you see on like a Monster where it's just everything all over the place. It's really simple. It's marketable. It's clean. Like the Fit Aid logo is iconic. Everyone knows exactly what that means. So it is super marketable. I like that. Like they bring the flavor to the forefront, especially on the color of the can. Taste wise, I'm a big pineapple fan.
Oh,
so I think overall it's a little pricey. I will always say
it is a little pricey. I will say that, right?
So I think that knocks it down a little bit, but overall, I'd say a 7.6. It's a solid boost to energy. It's even keel though. It's not going to spike you and then you crash. So a couple good little things. I wish it wasn't a proprietary blend. I wish it was a little bit more so on the front of exactly on where it needs to be and all the ingredients, like showing the full efficacy. But yeah, 7.6 is where I'm going to land on the blackberry pineapple Fit Aid.
Okay, am I back volume-wise, guys? The lab might
You're back. Welcome back, sir.
Yes, welcome back to my own show. So the price is fair. It's a little bit more pricey than like a Monster down here. I think it's 170. It's 170 pesos, which is actually like closer to $3. So it kind of gets a ding down here. That's a little bit pricey. The taste, I do like that blackberry pineapple a little bit better, but this is probably a close second. As far as how it makes me feel, 200 milligrams I feel like is the sweet spot for myself. And with the green tea is a very smooth energy. So I appreciate that. I think overall I got to give it I'll give it like a 6.8. Like not going to be like in the daily rotation, but not the worst thing in the world.
Well, hey, orally, you gave a much more glowing review than Brian, but numerically, you gave a lower rating than Brian.
Yes. So if I'm in the States, 6.8. But down here, where the limited selection, I'd probably flip that and give it like an 8.6.
I like. If I had the 200 milligram first thing in the morning, I probably would put it above an 8 for me personally. I think that's a fair rating from both of you guys. You guys are connoisseurs. I can't. You've had a lot of stuff I haven't had. So if you guys could give me a list of the things that scored above 8 for you guys, I want to try them out because I'm not closed-minded. I can jump off the Fit Aid bandwagon anytime and go with a new product. I just need a good energy drink sommelier to show me the way.
I think we can get that list. We can definitely get that list.
Yeah. Get a little decision tree going.
I need a decision tree. I need the activity pairing sheet.
We gotta get that going. We'll get on that. As always, follow us on Instagram at bevboys.tv. I am B. Sikorsky. Definitely follow SB. He's a man of the hour. You can find French at French_fit40. Did I get that?
That's right. 100%.
I love it. Hewitt, follow TeamBuildr at TeamBuildr. There's no E after the D on there. Greatest company to ever work for, greatest company to be around. Hewitt Tomlin himself.
Appreciate it.
And then finally, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube, listen to us wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, and add me on LinkedIn too while you're at it. Just LinkedIn.
Get this guy.
Yeah, just search me on LinkedIn. I'll come up.
And
yes, sir.
hop on to bevboys.com. Get yourself some gear. But thank you. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Peace.
See you.